all I think about, all I ever wanna do, all I ever worked for. So ain't no giving up, and up to the limit, just to win it is a must. Now you see what it takes to be on top, don't stop. Now you see what it takes to be on top, don't stop.
Bryant for the win. He is a remarkable talent. I mean, he got into one of those zones, and I've said it many times. It's all right for regular players to get in a zone, but when you're the best player and you get in a zone, that shouldn't be fair. And it wasn't fair.
Access, watch the progress, can't be done, man, I'm the champion.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Worldwide Laker Talk, presented by the Worldwide Laker Gang for Life. And all my Worldwide Laker Gang for Life people, shout out to y'all for following us and sharing. The show's been growing, and everybody's been commenting and giving us great feedback. We've been getting some watches on Twitter, YouTube. So like, subscribe, and share if you like what we're doing and what we're talking about, because this is Lakers Talk by Lakers fans for Lakers fans. So let's jump right into it. Yesterday was the first game of the Western Conference Finals, Lakers versus the Denver Nuggets. It was a good game. I think the Lakers did some really good and positive things. Brandon, I'm going to let you jump into it. Tell me what you see.
I'm getting excited. First off, I just want to start off by saying, like, I was maybe one of the Laker fans that was optimistic about, like, the restart. Like, I'm like, dude, we was on a roll. We was hitting our stride in March, and now it's kind of dead, and we got to come back and try to find it again. I was kind of down about AB not joining us. I was just kind of one of those kind of like going into it, like not sure what the team will look like. But I'm excited now, man. I'm back to where I was in March. You know what I'm saying? Because of what they playing, how they looking. They've shown that veteran leadership we talked about the last show really helps them stay focused in these games. And I'm seeing them back to where they were at before March, like I said. So I'm back on. I'm all, even though it was a weird, start stop type deal, but I'm back on, man. I'm excited to see how we finish these next two series up.
Yeah, what about you, Quincy? What you seeing? How you feeling about yesterday's game?
Well, it was they did a lot of things that we said that they should do coming into the series, and the matchups and things that we felt that would be to our advantage show. I mean, Jokic, I think, had 2 assists. A big part of that, because like we said in the previous show, we don't have to double him.
Yeah,
play him straight up. And Dwight played like somebody that haven't played in about 2 weeks.
he was ready.
For Jokic to battle Dwight and then later on have to guard AD, that's a lot for one man. That's a whole lot. And the fact that Dwight was being physical with him, really making him work for everything. A big part of Denver's offense is, the other team having to double Jokic, and that's how the other guys get their shots. Right. The fact that in this matchup, we're probably one of the few teams in the league that don't have to double him, and even when we go small, we still don't have to double him, because when we go small, it's AD guarding him. Yeah. And so I think matter of fact, I think Dwight was Brandon's X factor.
Yeah, he was.
He said that Dwight would be his X factor. And then man, I'm starting Markieff Morris. That was a pick up. That was a huge. Deion Waiters was going to be the pick, but Markieff Morris has been huge in these playoffs. And the touch on the leadership that we talked about, that we felt that the Clippers didn't have, that we do have, that a lot of people overlook. Markieff was saying the one player that helped him was Jared Dudley. Yeah. He was mentioning Jared Dudley. So, it just shows. And then Rondo, during the regular season, a lot of the times there would be a drop-off when our second unit came. Yeah. Now our second unit is extending our leads. Yeah. And B touched on AB, missing Avery Bradley, but a big part why we haven't missed Avery Bradley, because Caruso has stepped up in that role.
Yeah, immensely.
Yeah.
And so, man, it's just they're clicking on all cylinders. It's the best basketball stretch of basketball I didn't see them play all season long, and this is a perfect time. I saw that Vogel might start Dwight tomorrow, so that means he want him on Jokic every time he's on the court. And the fact that Jokic was getting frustrated, getting in foul trouble. Hey man, I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up being a sweep.
Wow. So you might be changing your earlier prediction.
Yeah, because I don't see too many adjustments they can make.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes like you could like, okay, if they make this adjustment, this could happen. But I just don't see what adjustments Denver can make as far as finding their advantages, because their number one advantage that they have on other teams, we have the ability to play them straight up, and it kind of goes to what Bird was saying when he was on here. Give credit to him where he said that if he would he would let Jokic go off. I mean, if he could go 40 against Dwight, JaVale, and AD straight up, then God bless him. But first, he got to prove he could go. He could get those big numbers on one-on-one coverage with them. So it was just an overall good performance. But I think we seen what Denver could do if you lay off. But I think our team see blood, and I think they're gonna try to put them away as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think one of the fascinating things was watching the way they played Joker in the first game, and he was getting very frustrated because he can't do a lot of the things that he was able to do against the Clippers and Oklahoma. No, who was it before that? Utah. I'm sorry, the Clippers in Utah. He wasn't able to move the way he was because we have such athletic bigs. And like you said, Quincy, shout out to Verb, because I was watching. I'm like, oh, they really play him straight up, and like, we gonna let you go one-on-one. So you can't turn into the assist machine because we're not going to double. And that made it hard for other guys. Like, even though Jamal Murray had a decent game in the first half, second half wasn't as good. He had to work for every single shot. Even some of those shots he snaked in the middle and got around Caruso. Hey, man, he had to work for everything. So like you said, we had him taking that Avery Bradley spot. And I think having to go against James Harden before this, having to go against CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard, I think those things have prepared us for Jamal Murray. And now, like you said, we have Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee who like, oh, we get to eat now? Like, we had to sit down for a week, so it's like time to unleash the dragon. And then you think about it, when we talk about how they wanted to throw different looks at LeBron James with the Clippers and they had 3 or 4 bodies, how they wanted to throw different looks at AD. Now we get to throw those different looks at Jokic, and you can see that every time they switch, it's like he has to readjust his game and what he tries to do. So Lakers take game 1. We are 9-2 in the playoffs. And I was surprised because we had dropped every first game of the round so far. I was excited to see that we came out with a different aggression than we came out in game 1 against Portland, and different aggression than we came out in game 1 against Houston. This time, I feel like the Lakers saw what happened with the Clippers. I feel like they feel like we need to take them really seriously, really early on, and we're not going to play any games like anybody else did with them who didn't think they could get this far. Do you guys agree or disagree with that assessment?
I agree 100%.
I agree. I just think that sometimes when you starting to hit your right rhythm, I got to give credit to Vogel for this. In the second quarter, when what's the other center name on Denver?
Mason Plumlee. Miles Plumlee.
Yeah,
one of the two.
When he was put in, normally that's when he put Dwight in to start the second quarter, but he didn't put Dwight in right away. He had Markieff playing center while Plumlee was in. When Jokic came back in the second quarter, that's when he put Dwight in. After halftime, he didn't start McGee. He started Dwight. So he made sure from that point on, from the second quarter on, every time Jokic was on the court, Dwight was on the court.
Yeah.
So he went away from his regular rotation. This is when you normally come in to, you know what? You're going to be in every time Jokic is in the game. And I think that has a lot to do with why he probably going to start tomorrow.
So
I love that Vogel's not married to his lineups, because sometimes that'll be a detriment of a coach. You know what I mean? We just saw that with the previous series with D'Antoni. You married to that lineup, but you don't make any adjustments, and it can hurt your team. So that's great to point out, Q, that you saw that he wanted to match up Dwight. Maybe that bigger body was just. It's just too much. I think that he's too strong, and it frustrates Jokic. So he saw that, identified it, and like you said, Q, whenever Jokic was in the game, that's when he put Dwight in.
Yeah, and another thing, our bigs. So against the Clippers, what Jokic did when Zubac was on, he played on a perimeter because he could take Zubac off the dribble. So Zubac had to give him space. That's why Jokic was able to shoot 3-pointers. And then when the Clippers came with the smaller lineup, he posted up Montrez.
Correct. Montrez, yeah.
But against us, because our big man, I'm not sure. I was trying to catch the stats. My phone won't come on. But I don't think he took a 3 yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
He 0 for 1. He was 0 for 1.
Okay, so
he took 1.
So he took 1 3-pointer, which is no. He didn't take one.
Or you didn't? Okay.
Oh, yeah. So no, he didn't take one. And I think the reason for that is because our big man moves their feet well, so they could get up on him, and he's not fast enough to kind of like dribble by them. He got AD on one good move by the free throw line, where he kind of ripped through pretty good. But for the most part, our big man moved their feet so they could get up on him a little closer, and he didn't have that space to shoot his 3. So I thought that was also frustrating him as well. Like his whole complete game was taken away. Everything he liked to do, shoot threes, pass, all that shit was taken away. And I think that's why you saw him get frustrated.
Yeah, man. So let's get into the first Mamba detail of last night's game. Lakers were dominant in the second half of the game, doing what the Clippers couldn't do, which is extend the lead against the Nuggets in the third quarter. What did the Lakers do to contain the comeback kids? Because that's what they're known for. They are comfortable playing from behind. It seems like they thrive on coming back from 20-point leads. Brandon, what did you see that helped us to keep them at bay yesterday?
Well, Q just touched on it, really. Vogel started Dwight in that second half. We came out. That was something different, and that was something unexpected that Malone, the coach of the Nuggets, couldn't even adjust to because he didn't know. So by everything Q just said, really, he touched on everything. I'm going to just piggyback off of his points. Dwight being able to move his feet and frustrate him, Jokic, offensively was a big thing. And then defensively, you got to put a body on Dwight. And just putting a body on somebody all night on the other end of the court, trying to box him out, keep him out of the paint, or just whatever, that wears you down offensively. You know what I mean? It's like a boxer in the ring, and the other boxer, he may not be hitting you with punches, but just laying on you, you got to throw him off of you. It wears you out, So we saw Jokic get a lot of silly fouls. He really wasn't in foul trouble that much against the Clippers because he was, like we said, it was barbecue chicken against Montrez, and he was pulling out Zubac on the perimeter. So we really saw a frustrated Jokic. So he got to go back to the drawing board and try to see what he can do to attack. But like I think Burb said last show, there's nothing they can do schematically to adjust. You know what I mean? And Q just said it too. He may think it's a sweep now because you don't see any adjustments because we still going to have Dwight, still got JaVale, and then hell, we can throw AD at the 5 late in game. So, I mean, what can they do to adjust to that? So we saw that play out. And then perimeter defense was pretty good, the same that we've been seeing stifling. I'll let Q touch on the perimeter defense and stuff because, he got the coach's eye for that.
Yeah. Q, talk about the perimeter defense for us.
I thought the perimeter defense was good. Sometimes they got caught on the switches, and Jamal Murray took advantage of that. But I think all in all, they did pretty good just by, like you said, making him work for every shot. And that's what you want to do with good offensive players. You want to make them work for every shot. And by the second half, to get to your point, what the Lakers did to slow them down in the second half. I don't know if you saw when they showed Vogel talking to the team at halftime. And he said, so we know what this team like to come out and do in the second half, in the third quarter. Mm-hmm. So the fact that it was on the coach's radar, it was the team radar, so they was already in the mindset of this is what Denver like to do. They like to come out, have good third quarters. Third quarter is normally their quarter. So the fact that it was already on the Lakers' radar, I thought that was good. And that's why they came out even more aggressive. And that's why Vogel makes sure that, okay, I got the White is playing Jokic good. I'm not even going to let McGee get on him to even let him catch a rhythm. We're gonna keep the White on to keep him frustrated. And he ended up picking up that fifth foul, which the referees tried to avoid giving him for like 3 or 4 times because he actually should have fouled out.
Yeah,
but it's the NBA.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about something. I want to pull something up for you guys real quick, and I want to talk about Dwight Howard on the pick and roll. Let's talk about Dwight Howard on these pick and rolls, and like you said, going to him moving his feet even when he got switches. He was doing some really nice things yesterday. So you see the shock ball screen, you see him right there, and they're coming around. Boom, gets him, comes all the way back, and he's at the basket. At the basket before he even can make the shot. So look at how much ground Dwight Howard covered in that one play. Mm-hmm. Like, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy that goes to what Quincy was saying about just him moving his feet and him being able to be an athletic big in the real sense of the word, an athletic big. He's not slew-footed. He's not slow-footed, and he's athletic and can get up and jump with Jokic. But he also can guard the perimeter if you need him to. And the thing that makes it scary is if he's at the 5 and AD's at the 4, both of them on the switch can guard that perimeter. So it makes it hard to feel like, well, let me get a big on the perimeter, because you're either going to take a bad three-point shot, which we saw a lot of. You're going to take a bad 3 far back trying to get away from their hands, or you're going to have to go into the rack. Second mama detail. LeBron had 15 points, 12 assists.
Real quick, Dame, before you get into the second detail, when you talk about that screen you just showed on Dwight, I think that's a testament to just AD's leadership on defense and just like the coaching staff. Because remember, Laker fans, like we took advantage of Dwight on the pick and roll a few years back when this team wasn't nowhere near as good. We had Kuzma, and I think it was Lonzo at that time. We ran him out the gym with pick and roll when he was in Charlotte. And because he just couldn't defend the pick and roll with Alonzo and Kuzma and a few other players we had at that time. That was when the Lakers were not as talented.
I forgot about that
back then. And now we see that.
I forgot about that.
Right, yeah. He was very bad with the pick and roll a few years ago. So to a team that shouldn't even beat Charlotte, we went in and was able to get a win just off eating off Dwight. So that's a great shot of him showing how he's improved on that, being able to show and then cover ground and get back and get the block.
Yeah, man. That was a great play. So like I said, LeBron had 15 points, 12 assists. AD had 37 points and 10 assists. Jokic and Murray both had 21 points. Why did the Lakers duo dominate? Do you think the Nuggets were a little tired from going into all these game 7s? Or do you think it's a combination of them being tired and also just LeBron and AD is a lot to deal with? That's a handful. What do you think?
I mean, that's kind of why you try to finish series as soon as possible, because the NBA ain't gonna change the schedule for you. So, but I think that it's a bad matchup for Denver. It's just an overall bad matchup for them, because we pretty much take away everything that they like to do, and by the Lakers being so big and being not only big but athletic and big, it's gonna bother Denver a lot. Like you talk about, like the range, the floor that the White covered, when him and AD is out there at the same time, that's a lot of. They both could cover the floor, a whole lot of floor, and recover and get back. So that's just a huge advantage. I'm just trying to think of what can Denver really do to kind of change it, and I think what we might see them is actually try to set picks for Jokic tomorrow. That's the one thing I could see them try to do, is set picks for him, and see how we do on those switches, since we switch everything, and try to force a situation where we switch like Rondo or somebody on them. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think one of the. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, Q just really said everything that I was going to say as far as that goes. So I don't think they can make any adjustments. I got a question for both of y'all, though. We got a lot of garbage time last night because the game was so far away late in that fourth quarter. And we got to see a player that I forgot about that Denver even had in Bobo. Now, there's nothing they can do schematically to change what they do. Do you, Quincy or Dame, see Bobo getting more minutes in the future games with the Lakers because he is an athletic big and can cover more ground? He's a little bit quicker than Mason Plumlee or Miles Plumlee, whichever one it is. And he's more athletic than Jokic. Do you see Bobo being like a little last resort ace in the back pocket of Malone to get some minutes earlier in the game?
I think when we see him, I think we'll know that they are getting desperate, and I think we'll know that we got him. If you know what I mean, if that's one of the adjustments where you like they throwing him in to get more minutes, because you got Jokic and, like you said, Plumlee, who are both bigs, who are supposedly battle tested, who both have playoff experience. So if you start going in and be like, we need to get more time for Bobo, because I feel like that's when, we had those times where when we had Julius Randle and Alonzo and Kuzma on the team, and you start naming randoms off the bench, like we need more time for them. That's when we in trouble, right? When the guys on the court, the starters, they not able to get it done. But also, Malone is a hell of a coach, and he's great at adjusting. So maybe he does run some things where, Bobo can help and can help move. So we'll see. What do you think, Quincy?
I think if I was him, I would bring in Bobo just because it's something that the Lakers don't have on film. And it would take the Lakers a game or two to adjust a 7-1 dude that could bring the ball up and pull a three. That's who I wanted in the second. With our second pick last year, I wanted Bobo.
Yeah, you was ahead of the curve on Bobo.
Yeah, I wanted Bobo because you can't teach 7-1 with handles that pull up threes that block shots and run and lead to fast break. That's just and got good footwork. That's just something you don't do. I just think the issue that Bobo would have is that the White and AD is so much stronger than him. They'll push his ass all the way back to Denver. Because Bobo, he's 7'1", but he weighed like 165. So that's the issue with Bobo. But I would definitely do it just to get the Lakers a different look. I think something that we haven't mentioned, I think Kuz did a pretty decent job on Porter.
Yes, and when he got Millsap, because Millsap is strong as hell.
But I brought up Porter because that's their second score.
Yeah,
Porter had 14, but Kuz had 11, so he nearly pretty much broke even with him. And I don't recall Porter 14 really being impactful.
Right.
So I think Porter played a big role with the Utah and Clippers series.
Yeah.
So I think if Kuz continue to make Porter work, and then do the job he did on Millsap, I think we're gonna be pretty good. But I like the fact that Markieff matches up with Millsap. Like I said, we can match up body to body with them all the way through. But I'll tell you what, man, Denver got it. Their future is nice.
Yeah, they got a nice team over there. They got a nice squad.
They got some players. Denver got a nice little future with Porter and Bobo. I think Jamal Murray only 23.
Yeah,
25. They got a nice future over there, though.
Yeah. You know what else I noticed too yesterday is our whole team is playing with an urgency and an excitement that I haven't seen on the Lakers in a long time. The whole bench is up when Dwight gets in. It's like you can really see these guys really cheering for each other. You can really see the chemistry. I hate to keep bringing up the Clippers, but I said that to say you saw even when the Clippers went up in that game 7 and they went up by, I think, 10 and the timeout was called. They go back to the bench. There was no energy. There was no high five. There was no you know, and I think that's a difference that you can see on the court now. And also, I think us going against Denver, like Charles Barkley said, hey, man, they just caught a bad matchup. The playoffs are all about matchups. Yeah. And I think Denver having to play us, they just caught a bad matchup because that's a great team. I think it's a good team. A lot of people don't want to give Denver credit. I think it's a good team. I think it's a good team over there, but I think it's hard to overcome LeBron and AD when you don't have the bodies to throw at them guys. I think it's hard.
Well, I think I got to give LeBron and AD credit for the chemistry of the team, and Rondo and Jared Dudley. You know, I would say those pretty much the four leaders on the team, and that tone was set last year when the team was pretty much set, and they had their own little training camp or whatever out there in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, and you had players that wasn't, you know, AD saying that, hey, LeBron gonna play defense this year.
Yeah. So
already you have players that was willing that's gonna hold each other accountable, and they gonna get on AD like, hey, you need to assert yourself. And then, you know, Dwight really set a tone where he just said, look, just give me a not guaranteed. I prove to y'all that I'm about the team. And he did. So there was so many tones that was set, and you know, and that's why the vets have to get coos together. Like, look, youngster, you might come off the bench, but there's other things you could do. Yeah, you could go start somewhere else and average 20 a game. We know you could do that, but you're gonna be losing.
Yeah, and you know, at the end of the season, hopefully, when we're talking about a championship, I do want to have a conversation with y'all on the show about how we gonna run it back. And I know that depends on how this season ends, like who we're gonna run it back with, and who gets to come back. So that's gonna be interesting. But I'm glad you brought that up, Quincy, because it actually leads us into our next detail. The bench played incredible, led by, like you said, Rondo, 7 points, but that wasn't the key. 9 assists. When you have Rondo coming off the bench getting 9 assists, I feel like it's going to be very hard to beat us. And he's been kind of doing it consistently, so I don't feel like it's a fluke at this point. Like, since the Houston series all the way to now, he's been really doing it. Dwight had 13 points, Kuz 11, Morris with 9. The bench playing well together, 5-1 since Rondo came back. Was he that missing link from us being a really good team to us being unstoppable, to us being that champion favorite?
For me, it is. Yeah, I gotta go with Rondo being that missing link. Only because a lot of times, and Q would say it all the time, and we would be watching the game together, we'd be in chat together, and Dane would say it all the time too, even throughout the regular season, we'd see it. Like, LeBron would go out for a rest, get his breather, and then we would just be lackadaisical on offense. Nobody was getting the ball where it needed to be. And Q makes this point all the time, and it's like the best point I've ever heard as far as the point guard goes that I use all the time with other people. Like, point guards understand when they start players not getting the ball. They be like, hey, AD ain't touched the ball in like 2-3 times. I got to get AD the ball. Whether he do something or not, he has to touch the ball and make the defense adjust to him. Rondo has that mentality that Q points out all the time. Whether it's even, just getting him the rock in the mid post, low post, he may not score, but just making sure he touches the rock, because you can't go down 2-3 possessions without him touching the rock. And sometimes Caruso and who else will run point? I guess A.B. Bradley will run point sometimes.
And
they
KCP
would forget
sometimes.
about AD.
Yeah,
and KCP as well.
He'll just come down and pull up a three with 23 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yesterday, lucky he made
it. Right. So, yeah.
But I want to, to your point.
Back to Rondo real quick.
Yeah.
Remember, when Rondo doesn't play, we don't see that many lobs.
Yeah.
About 5-6 lobs yesterday.
Yeah.
And because to have that connection where you have a point guard where the defense can relax on, when you got bigs like AD and Dwight that's looking for the backspin to catch a lob, every time Jokic relaxed, it was like,
go.
It was a lob. And to have that, because, when you have like Caruso or Quinn Cook, those guys, like what Rondo have, you can't teach. You're born with that. So the fact that where Rondo, and another thing that Rondo do, he makes LeBron a finisher.
Yeah.
LeBron can actually become a finisher, which he's like one of the best at in the league when he has the ability to just finish a fast break and not necessarily lead it. So I definitely think Rondo is the missing piece, and that's why our team has become so much more efficient because guys are just getting better looks and better shots.
Efficient. That's the word.
Because we actually have a point guard out there that knows guys' spots. You know, Rondo ain't gonna give it to you if that's not your spot.
Yeah. Well, you know what, too? I don't know if y'all saw this yesterday, but I did peep this yesterday, and I think it was because Quincy has been talking about this. Rondo did a quick skip pass, and it was a good pass. We scored off of it, but he went right to AD after that, and we made it and tapped him on the chest, said, I got you next. I saw you. Because AD was also open on that play. But Rondo went to him, tapped him on the chest, like, I got you. I saw you. I got you. But I'm like, damn, we scored off of that play, and he still recognized, like, yo, I got to get you the ball, AD. I got you, big man. Like, we gonna feed you. And again, we know how big men are. You feed them, especially good defensive big men, you feed them offensively, they're going to give you everything on the defensive end.
That's why I was so glad that they started fighting Dwight on the lob, because he needed to be rewarded. Because that's like when you just get, you know, on defense, you appear working, you making Jokic work for everything, and you hype and you blocking shots. He want to be rewarded. So when we start finding Dwight on the other end, I was like, okay, this how I need to go. Because I think that even got Dwight even more pumped up, and that, you know, for the rest of the game he was on level 10.
So Verb touched on that. I'm sorry to cut you off, Dame.
No, go ahead.
Verb touched on that when we had him on the show last. If you're not getting the ball on offense, you're not going to, you know, exert that much energy on defense. That's just how we are. We pick up ball. We gonna play and pick up ball, and we got to do hogging the rock. We not running back half court. We like, bro, have it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a great point as well, Q. Like, reward the big men for playing defense, and they continue to play defense.
Remember, Shaq used to get mad at Kobe. Hey, Kobe. Shaq said, you know, Kobe, like, I don't get the ball, I don't guard the yard. Kobe said, you can get the ball on the rebounds. You get the ball on the rebounds. Hey, number 8 was something else, man.
Yeah, yeah, he was. So I want to talk about something. I know there was a big discrepancy in foul calls in the second half. More the second quarter, right? Second quarter going into the third. Second quarter going into the third, and I've seen a few people complaining about the amount of fouls that was called, specifically on Jokic. So I wanted to pull up a little film for you guys. You know, we like to go to the film. Let me find it. We like to go to the film because I want to show that I think what happened, and you can speak to this while I look for it, Brandon. Our bodies was too big for them guys, and it was either going to be a layup. It was either going to be a layup, or it's going to be a dunk, or it's going to be a lob. And I think at some point they figured we could give Dwight to, you know, I'd rather put Dwight on a free throw line than have him getting these freebies. I'd rather put AD on a free throw line than have him getting these freebies. So let me pull this up.
And while you put that, I just make this point. I think that that's when Dwight came in the game in the second quarter. I think he set a very physical, aggressive tone. Yeah, and what ended up happening, a lot of times the more aggressive team. I think my internet froze.
Oh, you still here? I hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the internet froze, but if y'all can hear me,
yeah, we can hear you.
I think the aggressive tone was set, and Denver Fouls was coming out of frustration because I was always concerned that, okay, are the referees going to allow the Lakers to be aggressive? Because you notice, oh, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you the whole time. Good.
What's the referees going to allow us to play aggressive? Because, you know, Dwight normally get 4 fouls in 2 minutes because the referees are calling those touchy fouls. But yesterday, I felt like they actually will allow them to play playoff basketball. people gonna complain about the fouls, but those same people ain't gonna say nothing when Jokic should have fouled out about 5 times in the second half. But the referees, they allowed him to foul at least 3 or 4 times before they gave him that 5th foul, and he definitely should have had a 6th foul. So yeah. I think we shot 11 more free throws than them, but and I think we shot 25 at halftime, and we end up getting I think 12 in the second half. So, but I just think our aggression was the reason we got a lot of those free throws, and Denver was getting frustrated. Denver had a lot of frustration fouls.
Well, yeah, and I gotta give a shout out to some of my Clipper fans. Daniel and Brandon had told us, and Speed has said, "Yo, they get a lot of Denver's used to getting a lot of touch fouls. Like James, Jokic gets a lot of those James Harden type fouls. Like he gets a lot of those flopping fouls. He wasn't getting them, and I think that frustrated him for one. And then he said for two, a lot of times they wasn't letting Clippers play them physically like they was letting us play them physically yesterday. So that changed. That was like a totally different, you know what I'm saying? Change in the game. So, let's look at this. Let's look at this and see if you feel like there are any questionable fouls. If you feel like something wasn't called correctly. So that's clearly a foul.
Right.
That's clearly a foul.
Right.
Clearly a foul.
The last one you showed, Draymond talked about that one. Yeah, that's a foul.
I see.
That's a foul. It was a stupid foul. See, they called a foul on Caruso on that one.
Caruso. Wow. Right. And he was moving his shoulder back. You can see him like not set.
Yeah. You got to give him room to come down. Definitely a foul.
Did AD get this call?
Yeah, AD got that call. So honestly, I didn't see all these questionable fouls people are talking about in regards to, you know what I mean? Like what we were doing. I know that we were being the aggressor. I know, and somebody had brought up we didn't have that many more points in the paint. We actually did have more points in the paint, but I think people didn't realize those foul calls that were called in the paint don't count as points in the paint now because they went to the free throw line. So if we had 30 points in the paint, but you had 10 of those were ended up being free throws, that would probably be like another 10 to 20 points in the paint.
Exactly.
So that's why the numbers look like that.
Yeah, and then too, they got like a lot of garbage time buckets. I mean, this is one of them games that's over with like 5 minutes left, so you get a lineup that Lakers don't play together that much. A lot of those, that
lineup was terrible. That last 5 minutes,
right. So I mean, we got a lot. They caught up a lot with those layups when people are not really playing defense and stuff like that. JaVale took a 3. I mean, it really wasn't. You know what I mean? You can't look at the full box score and get a full idea of the whole game if you didn't watch the game.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely had to watch the game to understand because, I know Samaki Walker. I know it's today random arbitrary Laker day.
Man, I wish I would have known. I would have used my favorite Laker.
Hey, I'm just saying, if anybody asks who these people are that I'm naming, then
you might not be a Laker fan.
You might not be a Laker fan.
Man, ain't no might to it.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? So like I was saying, I think if you watch the game, you would see and because we was giving the Clippers shit about Montrezl Harrell shoot more free throws than all of the Denver Nuggets. But you see what happens when you have somebody who plays aggressively on the offensive end. They start fouling them on purpose damn near, especially if there's somebody who's not regarded as a good free throw shooter. So, let's get into the bench and play.
Yeah, but I don't see where It's one thing if somebody like LeBron shot more free throws than him, But it's not like Kyle
But
shot more free throws.
and that's what I said. I said no, we wasn't questioning if y'all was getting foul calls. I said we was questioning Montrezl Harrell as shooting more than the whole Denver team.
Yeah. If Kawhi shot more free throws, then
We wouldn't. I wouldn't have said shit.
I wouldn't say a word. But Montrezl Harrell shooting more free throws than the whole team. I don't know about that player.
So what do we need to do tomorrow to get into to game 2 tomorrow? What adjustments do you see coming, and what will we have to do to keep this thing rolling, Brandon?
I really don't. I think we're in a position where we have the upper hand, obviously, so we don't have to make any real adjustments. I think we got to adjust to whatever Denver adjusts to, if that makes sense. Like, we got to wait to see what Denver going to try to do and then make our move. Quincy said earlier, we're hearing that Dwight may start. That may be the only adjustment we really make, but they already did that. I really think in game 1, second half, they made that adjustment already with Dwight being on Jokic more. So then we just got to see what Denver does, try to counter our adjustment and then move from there. But pretty much what we did in game 1, I feel like maybe LeBron would be more aggressive. He only had 15 points, I think. So he'll probably score more, obviously, than that game 2. But other than that, other than like just keeping those bodies on Jokic and just playing that one-on-one defense with him and seeing what else Denver tries to do, because like you said, Malone's a hell of a coach. Yeah. So we'll see what he tries to do for the next game, and then we'll adjust to that as we go along.
Samaki.
Well, I think Denver going to take the blueprint that a lot of teams have used against the Lakers this year. Okay, obviously they just saw AD could beat them. So, but now I think what they're going to do, I think we're going to see some more zones, some more double and triple teams, and they're going to force, okay, KCP, you had 18 last game. Let's see, can you do that again? Let's see, can Danny Green be consistent? Let's see, can Rondo and Kyle Kuzma. I think that they're going to claw at the paint more, play like a zone with Jokic in the middle of it, kind of force the Lakers to have to hit open shots and try to do something to keep LeBron and AD out the paint, because we scored a lot of points in the paint. So I see them trying to do a lot of double, triple team and play some zones to force our shooters to shoot. And they're going to have to show that they can be consistent and make them pay for it and, go from there.
Brandon, I saw your frustration. I saw your frustration when the name Danny Green was. What happened? What happened there?
Man, we got to depend on Danny Green to win us a game, bro. If you'd asked me that 9 months ago, I'd have been like, yeah, we good. He going to give us one. I've been waiting for that one game, bro, for so long. I hope we don't got to rely on Danny Green at no point moving forward. I hope he proves me wrong eventually, but just the name itself, you saw the frustration. Like, dude, it's just not. I mean, man, he hasn't been.
Look, when we talk about all-season moves, that's going to be one of the first. That's number one. That's number one on my list.
Number one, man, for real. We got to move.
We need a two-guard player.
Oh, my goodness, man. Danny Green.
And
I see it. He'll make one shot, and I'll be like, okay, this is the game. This is the game
and
right here.
He did something where I don't know what got into his soul, where he thought he was going to create his own shot yesterday against Jamal Murray. He drove down, did a spin, and fade away. That should miss. I was like, what was that? Like what are we doing here? Like,
let me ask y'all something. Am I wrong for being happy that LeBron James didn't win the MVP? Because I feel like it's going to fuel him through the rest of these playoffs.
Yeah, because welcome to being a Laker player. Yeah. Laker players don't get MVPs. Where you been, LeBron? Have you been watching? Where have you been? The Lakers got 5 championships in a decade. Well, the most successful team in that decade, and got 2 MVPs. Steve Nash had by himself had the same amount of MVPs the Lakers have in 20 years.
Yeah, and with it Kobe and Shaq teams.
Yeah.
Steve Nash got more MVPs than Kobe and Shaq.
I mean, he made a valid point. I thought it was ridiculous for him to have 16 votes. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's
Kobe was that year. Kobe averaged 35-5. Went on that historic run. Got a starting lineup of Smush Parker, Luke Walton, Lamar Odom, and Kwame Brown to the playoffs. There were 6 people who left Kobe off their ballot completely.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Not just we're gonna put you get second or third place. They completely left Kobe off their ballot. So LeBron, welcome to being a Laker player. The only MVP you gonna get is probably maybe in the finals, but they don't give Lakers MVPs.
Yeah.
Not at all.
But I feel like that was just because LeBron is passive aggressive about certain shit, and there's certain things that get under his skin. And to see that he really was pissed about not only not winning, but the amount of votes he got, I'm like, okay, one, we gonna get some vintage LeBron from now to because he got a for real point to prove now. Not that he didn't already have one, but he got a point to prove. I think we gonna see him and AD at their best if we make it to the finals because they're both gonna be trying to go for that finals MVP.
Yeah,
so,
I think AD got robbed in the defensive player of the year.
Me too.
Right, no, 100%.
What was it? He had 30 more blocks. No, 30 more steals than Giannis, but like 80 more blocks.
Right.
and the point average of people they guarded was like 2 points off. But when you take that, AD is guarding people in the Western Conference 3 or 4 times, and Giannis get to see the Detroit Pistons 4 times, and he get to see the Chicago Bulls 4 times, and just go down the list. Where you put the Phoenix Suns over there in the Eastern Conference, so they might be in the Eastern Conference Championship right now.
Yeah, man. So
and to touch on what Dame said earlier about LeBron being passive aggressive and holding on to things, I think him losing the MVP this year, Dame and Q, is going to not only fuel him for the rest of these playoffs, but next year as well. Because he holds on. LeBron don't forget anything. In the interview, I don't know if y'all heard it or not, he mentioned about how he could have won Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in 2013. That was 7 years ago, and he still remembers like Marc Gasol won Defensive Player of the Year over me, and I should have had both that year. So,
well, you know what? And he made a valid point because he brought up the hypocrisy. He said, "How did Marc Gasol, who won Defensive Player of the Year, was second team all defense, and LeBron was first team?"
Yeah.
He said that's like giving an MVP to somebody, but they second team all NBA.
Yeah, that don't even make sense.
If you win a defensive player or MVP, you got to be first team defense and first team all NBA. You can't be second team. That don't make no sense. But hey, LeBron, welcome to the Lakers, player. That's what happened. You averaged 26 and 10 assists. Lead the league in assists. Don't get no MVPs here.
Hey, and I'm glad we all been saying since the beginning of the playoffs, we are going to get a vintage Dwight. And I think we're not going to just get a vintage Dwight game. I honestly think we're going to get a vintage Dwight series here against Denver. Like, I think we're going to get some good things from him defensively.
Can I ask you this? Is Dwight the best Laker redemption story ever?
Yeah, I think he has it because he was hated.
Yeah.
He was hated, but I don't think anybody ever left hated and got to come back in a career and be where he's going to be, especially if we win a championship. He left, was hated, came back, became a fan favorite, and might actually win a championship to finish the full redemption.
Yeah, I was tired.
Because the one I think of is Derek Fisher, but Derek Fisher wasn't hated when he left, though.
Yeah. Look, the Lakers saved souls, man. Look, Meta was hated. Remember, before Ron Artest became a Laker, he was hated. He was a thug. He was people didn't want him. He was canceled. Meta became a Laker. Folks love him. So now that you brought him up, I think Meta would be the one that he would overtake by winning the championship. And the reason I say he would overtake Meta only because Meta was hated, but Meta wasn't hated by Lakers. Like, he wasn't hated by Laker fans. Like, Dwight was specifically hated by
the worldwide Laker gang. We was not rolling with Dwight after the way he left things with Kobe. We was not rolling with him. So the fact that he was specifically hated by this fan base, I think that's what's going to overtake him over Ron Artest if he wins.
Yeah, look, NBA players, if you hated by your team, hey, if I'm Rob Pelinka, that's my sell pitch. They're like, look, they don't like you, but look, we got redemption stories, we got resumes over here. But people out here and careers
your teams all hating you on Twitter, all making memes of you on Instagram. Come a Laker gang.
Hey, Paul George can use it right about now.
Yeah.
Like, see what happened, bro? You could have been in love.
Yeah.
Now you over there in Clipperland getting killed.
Man, can y'all believe that some people wanted the kids and Paul George over AD and LeBron? Let's talk about that real quick. I just want to talk about that before we leave.
Hey, I was one. Okay, so I was one of those ones way back when I was with keeping the young core, and if PG wanted to sign with us before he went to OKC, that was cool. That was before we got the whole LeBron thing and AD came about. Once AD came about, I was like, "Fuck them kids, let's go get AD." Like straight up, you know what I mean? So
me and Quincy maintained the whole time, Brandon. I said there is nobody I would give up, even Paul George. I said there's nobody I would get the kids up for except AD.
And then, hold on. We were saying that shit thinking AD would never cut. Like,
right.
It was a rumor at the time. The time. So we wasn't even like talking like it was like hypothetical. Like, the only person in the league because you remember they was like, you know, trading the kids for Paul George, even Kawhi. You remember that was a possibility, and we was thinking like, look, we blowing it up. And we get this player, we still won't be a good team because the plan was we keep the kids, but we still have cap space to get 2 more players. Well, when LeBron came and then it changed once AD signed with Clutch. It's like, oh, wait a minute, like Brandon said, fuck them kids, man. Hey, I love Zoe, B.I., Josh Hart.
Ingram. I say even at all of them at all of their best could never turn into AD. Like no matter how, even all of their ceilings, no matter what you think they ceiling, I don't think none of their ceilings would get you to AD. The closest is going to be whatever Brandon Ingram becomes, and I still don't think even whatever Brandon Ingram becomes is not. You know,
Brandon Ingram most improved player in the league this year. If we had him, if we had him on the team right now instead of AD, we're not in the Western Conference Finals sitting at 1-0 right now with the most improved version of Brandon Ingram right now and LeBron and this team as it's constructed.
I think what people didn't realize because AD been in the league for so long is that he's still only 27.
Exactly. So he's a kid himself.
Yeah. So he only 2 years older than Kuzma.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't think folks really like.
It's not trade the young core for 34-year-old Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, but I think how old was Kareem when we got him?
Kareem?
I think Kareem was like 28. I know Wilt was 32.
Yeah,
him. But Kareem, I think Kareem was late 20s when we got him. But yeah, definitely like.
How old was Shaq when we got Shaq? Do you remember how old Shaq was?
26, 25, 26.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember we had Shaq. We won the championship Shaq third year.
Yep.
And I remember him saying like he won at 28 like Michael Jordan. I think Jordan won at 28.
Okay.
Yeah. So but I just want to touch on that.
I don't understand people's logic with that because, well, I think the worst thing was Jim Buss.
Man.
Yeah,
he was
man.
He was. A lot of Lakers fans know Jim Buss was about to trade the kids for Paul Millsap to Atlanta. Man, hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I think that would be the first time I would consider not being a Laker fan.
If he would have traded the kids for Paul Millsap,
Paul Millsap and Carl Korver.
I gotta consider not being a Laker fan. Jim Buss got to see me.
That is the worst. I don't even know how you consider that.
Hey, look, it forced his sister to fire his ass. That's how bad. Like family members start turning on him. Like, hey, you know, he's trying to trade the kids for Paul Millsap.
Right. That's funny.
Like,
Damn, that's
like,
funny.
Like the family turned on his ass over that. So, but yeah,
and it was well deserved.
Yeah, but to me, it was pointless to if Paul George really wanted to come to a winning situation, it would only make sense for you to come with the kids with an extra cap space. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
For you.
Right.
But you know, as we start to get behind the politics of it, Aaron Mintz's relationship with Magic. For those that don't know, Aaron Mintz was D'Angelo Russell's agent. He was Julius Randle agent. And when he didn't like the way how the Lakers treated D'Angelo Russell, and he was upset that the Lakers didn't extend Julius Randle contract. So
yeah,
for payback, he made sure Paul George chose OKC. And that's why there's no Aaron Mintz clients on our team, and probably won't be for
they bad
for a while.
They bad.
Clutch Sports is half the roster.
Yeah. Well, right. I'm gonna say they bad because Clutch made the right decision. Said we pretty much gonna basically become Laker business partners, and y'all gonna get our best clients. We're gonna figure out a way to get our best clients over there. So that's the kind of collusion I can get behind. Right. Collusion.
Yeah, Kareem was 28.
Okay.
When we traded our young core, by the way, we traded some guys that was on an all-rookie team and all that back then. So Brian Winters, all them nasty ass dudes, was considered a nice young core back then. So I guess a lot of people would have thought, why trade for Kareem when you got a nice young core like Brian Winters to build around?
Yeah, man. So like for me, like you said, we're not gonna have an Aaron Mintz client, but I want to go back to that. Do you guys think now with all we're hearing about Paul George's personality and all we're hearing about Paul George and how he's been operating on the Clippers and how he's been saying like he gets anxiety when he has to be the guy in the fourth quarter, things of that nature. Do you feel like we actually dodged the bullet by not bringing him in and building around him and the young guys?
100%, I believe we did, man. Retrospect, hindsight is just something else. We were, as Laker fans, we were just so anxious for that next star because we have been in the gutters for so long. You know what I mean? So we were just like ready to get a new star, but it ended up working out. And like Quincy, pointed out the politics and the ins and outs of it with Aaron Mintz and the beef with Magic. Magic low-key saved us from PG by doing what he did to D'Angelo and Randle. So shout outs to Magic again, man.
Well, he did that shit on purpose. I think we dodged a missile.
Yeah.
For the fact that I think we would have been in. I think LA would have ate PG up. Big time. Kobe used to say it all the time, like you have to want to be a Laker, and that's why when I hear Laker fans, when Kobe said you shouldn't have to recruit somebody to be a Laker because you have to want this because it's different than anything else, and that's why we was all three of us. We wasn't the biggest LeBron fans, before LeBron was a Laker, but we came to come around to support him. Look, LeBron is a Laker. I'm a fan of the Lakers, so I'm going to support. I want LeBron to win MVP championships, and I still don't think he's better than Kobe. So my position ain't going to ever change on that. But LeBron in the end wanted to be a Laker, and you have to want to be a Laker. We shouldn't have to
convince you.
We dodged a bullet with PG. We also dodged a bullet with Dwight Howard. Can you imagine if Dwight Howard would have sought that extension?
Yeah.
So the
battle Marcus Aldridge. We was trying to get him to be our next. Think about the people we gave
Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony. You remember we did a makeup meeting with like, and he was like demanding like he was that dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we really dodged some bullets. So as far as PG, I thought PG. I'm not gonna lie, I thought PG was like a T-Mac.
Yeah.
And, that's not him.
Ish said we was thirsty. You right, Ish.
Yep. Thirsty. Yeah. I mean, think about it. Niggas was really mad.
Hella thirsty.
Hey, niggas were really mad LaMarcus Aldridge didn't sign with the Lakers.
Yes. Yes.
Niggas was,
So,
hey, no, but
DeMar
remember
DeRozan.
niggas wanted DeMar DeRozan?
I was saying, and DeMar DeRozan.
Right.
Hey, okay. LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan, they're on the same team right now. How far they get in the playoffs?
That's crazy.
Right.
That's with Greg Popovich.
With Pop.
With
I mean,
Popovich.
Lakers, we were thirsty. We wanted everybody. We wanted Westbrook. That nigga don't do nothing in the playoffs. We wanted everybody, bro.
We just wanted something. Yeah, we can't be sorry no more.
Hey, we just out there like crackheads. You got some superstars. We'll take anything for you.
Hey man, we wasn't used to this no playoff stuff. We was like
used to it,
we
man.
was bugging, like especially coming off of Kobe.
All right, dude. But in our defense, we were looking at star lineups like what's his name?
Robert Sacre.
Jordan Clarkson, Jody Meeks. We were looking at Wayne Ellington, like Jordan Clarkson and Wayne Ellington. What's his name? The white dude from Duke, last name Ryan.
Yeah. What's the dude name, man? I know you're talking about.
Jordan Hill and Sacre.
Yeah.
That was a starting five.
Yeah.
So hey, LaMarcus Aldridge was looking like Tim Duncan to us.
With that starting lineup at that point, that's true.
Yeah, so
I watched those. Hey, and we watched those games, so we deserve everything we getting right now.
Yeah,
we watched those games. We broke it down. We was like, "Hey, Tierra Brown, bro, he next, man. He next." I mean, Tariq Black, he next. Tariq Black. Look at Tariq Black. Look at this dude, man. In a few years, Manny Ramirez is gonna be next too, man. Look at this. Look at Vander Blue. Vander Blue got potential. Yeah, Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, hey man, I was literally like,
hey, how many of them dudes are even in the league that was on that team and in that starting lineup?
Jordan Clarkson,
man. Jordan Clarkson, yeah, man.
That's like
Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
What was that rebound? What was that power forward we had that was a good rebounder and he left us and went to Portland? And we was like, he gonna be next. He gonna average a double-double. He got next. It was a power forward dude that we had in our gutter days.
Oh,
and
we just played him. He was Ed. We just played him.
He played for Portland now, I think. Damn.
Yeah, he plays for Portland now.
We can't remember these dudes' names. We was all trying to hype them up, break down film.
When you traumatized, you block shit out.
Ed Davis.
Ed Davis.
Shout out to Worldwide
There
Laker Game. Shout out to Worldwide Laker Game for life, keeping us on point. And we can't.
You can see a psychiatrist trying to remember these dudes.
Man, we had the dudes, man.
That shit like Nam. You don't even want to think about it. You just like we traumatized thinking about it.
Traumatized,
15 games. I'm like, did I really watch that shit? Did I really watch them lose like 75 games,
bro?
We watched those games. So we were still in the groups. We were still talking about those games. We were still having hope. Like we still held out hope for something. And that's why when you lose out on LaMarcus Aldridge and you sick, damn.
They draft 2 All-Stars though. B.I. and D'Angelo Russell have been All-Stars.
Yeah.
So we have drafted 2 All-Stars. That's what these kind of got better than the Alonzo Kuz draft. I think that's probably the best draft overall in Laker history, where we had multiple picks. Of course, I'm not saying it's the best draft picks because we already know who that is. But overall, what I've never seen the Lakers have like multiple picks like that
and be able to put together
on every pick. Yeah, including picking up undrafted in Caruso that same year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just think about it.
Shout out to Ryan West, man.
Yeah.
Now.
And my man,
what's the Joey Bus?
Joey Buss, yeah.
Joey Buss, yeah.
Yeah, because those were some great picks, and like I remember how excited we were about that summer league team. Like, and I remember we talked about Caruso back then, and I was like, I don't know, y'all. He looked like an accountant, but I think we might have found something with this dude.
Yeah,
yeah,
you know
man.
I mean? Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean that was to me, and I've been in summer leagues for a long time. That's the best summer league team I ever seen.
Yeah, and I don't think, because I think people, like, don't get it twisted. We're not saying that, oh, we think Caruso is the second coming, because you know how people like to get outrageous. We don't think Caruso was the second, but I think Caruso was going to be exactly what he is now, an integral piece, a good rotation player. And to get a piece like Caruso, undrafted, out of the D League, man, that's pretty incredible and amazing that he's now giving us minutes
think about it this way.
The West Conference Finals.
Kuz was the what? 28 pick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Lakers 27-28 pick is in a rotation, and they undrafted from that summer league are in the rotation. Go find how many teams who have players from their summer league 4 years ago that's in their rotation.
Clarkson was our 44th pick, and he was in the rotation for Utah. He was our 44th pick in that year, right?
Yeah,
he was playing for Utah.
Yep.
So they pretty much rebuilt, but as far as get back to PG, we dodged a damn missile. That wasn't a bullet, because I don't think PG would have been the type of person, seeing his leadership, that people would have came here to want to play with.
Or he wouldn't even been able to lead the kids. Again, like if you saying we put in the kid, we would have been looking at PG to be the leader, because I think that's how at that time we looked at him, like he's gonna come, he's gonna be the main guy, put the young kids around him, and like you said, try to get like all the things we thought would happen, try to get a second star to come in with him. I don't know if those things would have happened. He's a person that a star got to bring him in. I don't think he's the one who brings another star in.
Well, you know who knew they wasn't a leader? I mean, PG wasn't a leader for the Lakers?
Who?
PG.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people know who they are and what they can handle, what they can't deal with.
And it's so funny because
there's no logical reason you picking OKC over being a Laker.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sounding arrogant, but just from a business perspective, and then you gone in a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
You come here and you come to LA in a year, but to the Clippers, yeah.
Yeah, and like you say, to the Clippers, because that is a whole different kind of spotlight. It's a whole different expectation. But we even see you folded in the Clippers spotlight. So I can't even imagine what would have happened if you would have been under that Lakers spotlight.
Oh, man. If PG had a playoff like that for the Lakers, they'd be running his ass out of town.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right now. I mean, Kawhi going to get a pass because Kawhi got rings, but PG won't get no pass like that.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, and you know, you got to give it up. Like I said about LeBron. LeBron wanted this smoke. Same thing with AD. AD, he. I mean, and when you have players who want to be Lakers, like Kobe said, you don't have to recruit. People either want to be here or they don't. And I kind of see what he's talking about. LeBron took one phone call from Philly, committed to the Lakers on the first day.
Yeah.
Right. AD could have been in Boston if he wanted to.
Yeah, because they have more assets. They actually have more assets to pick him up.
So when people want to be Lakers, look, we got to make sure we jump on them, but make sure that you know, when we get in them down times, we can't
be thirsty.
Can't be thirsty, Laker fans. You got to be patient and wait for the right players who want to be here, because y'all would have had us all fucked up.
Well, it's funny too, because even the version of Dwight Howard that came back was not the version that we would have had signed, right? Like, so the version that came back was the version that went through, saw that he wasn't the player he thought he was, saw that he wasn't the franchise guy without certain things around him, went and had some really hard times, bounced around the league, was damn near out of the league. Nobody wanted him. And then he comes back and you get a humbled Dwight Howard. So even that journey shows you how different it is being a Laker.
I think what hit Dwight is you get to a certain age and you start to look back at your legacy. And I think what Dwight saw is that everybody forgot about who he was in Orlando.
Yeah, for real.
When Stephen A. made the comment that he made, people were like, oh, see, now people go, oh, well, no, Dwight did this. But before then, you know, it was
He was the butt of the jokes.
Yeah,
but like you said, Dwight. I'm like, no, Dwight got to the finals. Like, what are y'all talking about? Dwight got to the finals, defensive player of the year. And,
Dwight was a beast, and he put LeBron out.
Yeah,
the playoffs.
Yeah.
like he put a 63-win Cleveland Cavalier team out the playoff.
Yeah.
So I think that Dwight just got to a point to where like his legacy mattered, and now with people forgetting what happened in Washington and Charlotte, and I forgot that he played in Atlanta until I saw a meme the other day. I was like, damn, he did play for the Hawks.
Yeah, because that was his hometown. That was supposed to be like his homecoming, and that shit did not end well. Even what he got bounced out of Memphis. I don't think he even got to play in Memphis.
Right.
Yeah, so
they bought him out, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Laker fans, we would have extended Dwight.
And we was trying. We have Dwight and Dwight.
They
and maybe
Dwight signs and all type of stuff. Thirsty.
That's how thirsty he was. The Lakers was acting out of character that whole time. Like we was out of character.
No, hey,
even
man.
The organization.
Look, I look. Everybody look. Kobe's legacy and is his 5 rings and what he accomplished in his 20 years. But I think Kobe's greatest move was telling Jimmy the Fire brother.
And shout out to Rob Pelinka and everybody who was laughing at Rob at the beginning of the season, talking about he didn't know what he was doing. Shout out to Rob Pelinka.
But see, this is what happened when you listen to media who don't already like the Lakers. You got to listen to people's motives. Folks was already hating on Rob because the Laker job is like that GM job, like
that coveted job.
That's the job everybody wants. And folks feel he just got to pass because he was Kobe agent, and that's the truth. We know, like that's the deal. But so there was people that was purposely agents who was leaking stuff, putting us that purposely try to tarnish his reputation out the gate, and it's like Rob for to get the last laugh.
Do y'all think AD signs back?
Oh hell yeah! Did you see his quote?
Nah.
He said this year with the Lakers has been everything that he envisioned.
Yeah, he's not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Does the salary cap change? Did y'all heard anything about the salary cap as far as next year with all the pandemic stuff? I know it's gonna be lower, not as.
Yeah, but whatever it is, AD gonna get whatever he wants. So
yeah, even if they had to go into the luxury tax, you better give AD whatever the heck you want.
Yeah. So but it's crazy to hear people say, "Oh yeah, the New York Knicks they trying to mimic what the Lakers are doing." Like, oh, you talking about the same Lakers? Everybody made Rob look like he was dumb, and he and Laker fans were, he don't know about the cap. I was like, how you an agent
and don't know about the cap?
I was agent for 20 years.
I felt like we was defending him like he was LeBron at one point. Like we was defending him like, what are y'all talking about?
Well, because we trust Kobe. If Kobe said, "Dude is intelligent,"
that's enough for me.
I'm gonna listen to Kobe before I listen to Brian Windhorst.
Yeah,
right.
Right. So it wasn't necessarily I trust Rob. I trust Kobe because Kobe don't really attach himself
to too many people.
That's not.
Yeah, that's real.
Kobe don't really mess with nobody. Whether it's a player he gonna work out with, he don't really attach himself with failure. So the fact that Kobe was saying, "No, this dude, he gonna have a plan A, B, C. He know how to do it," then I trusted Kobe.
Right.
Speaking of players who Kobe worked out with, the Celtics are up 78-60. I guess they figured some shit out because I was wondering what the heck was going on with the Celtics. They had big leads in both games, lost both of them. They up by 18 right now, but it's still a whole nother quarter to go. And we know that Miami team is the East Coast version of the Denver Nuggets. Ain't no quitting them guys. Look, I want us to win number 17 against the Celtics. That's what I want. But it looked like if the Celtics win this game, it looked like the Celtics and Heat could be in for a dogfight for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I think that's going to go 7. It's going to go 7 probably to the last minute of Game 7. You got two teams that's pretty good defensively. They They both got multiple good wing defenders. So I think it's gonna be a dogfight.
They really about to beat up on each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and we're gonna probably end this early with Denver and be just sitting back waiting.
Yep. Because look, I thought it was gonna be 6 games. I thought we was gonna drop that first game, right? I said we're gonna do like we've been doing. LeBron gonna have his fill out game, and we're gonna drop the first game. And the funny thing is, I feel like LeBron still did have a fill out game. That's why he only had those 15 points, right? I feel like he had his fill out game, but AD came to play and everybody else did, and they came out. And even though he didn't have a big offensive game, the same thing we've been saying, LeBron came out aggressive off top. First 3 times he went straight to the rack, straight down to the post, straight to the hoop. So after that, the rest of the team, boom, they're playing aggressive for the rest of the game. Now that we won that first game, guys, I have to change my prediction from 6 games. I think it's going to be 5 games.
No, I was saying 5 all along. I'm about to drop down the game. But
everybody dropped down the games. I'm right there with you, Dan. I said 6-2. I thought that it would go Lakers lose game 1. We would come back and win the next 3, and then have a hard time closing them out because they are the comeback kids. They would win that game, and then we would come out and win game 6. But after game 1, I'm gonna change and go back down to 5 with you, bro. And Quincy gonna drop down to a sweep.
Yeah. And you know what? I might we'll see what happened at the game too. Because if it looks like there are really no adjustments they can make to win,
might drop another game.
Yeah. Lakers in 3.
I can't see the comments. Are people have any comments or anything in the comments?
No, the last one was it's saying right. I've been dropping them. People just been watching. We got a lot of people just watching.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hey man. Go ahead, Quincy.
No, I was just going to tell people, if y'all have any questions, we like to interact with people in the comments. So don't be, there's nothing crazy you can say unless you just think the kid should be here with PG over AD. Then we might eat your ass up. But other than something ridiculous like that, or Patrick Beverly could guard Anthony Davis. Sorry, you just say something like ridiculous like that. Something along those lines. Look, if you in Laker Force, don't even comment on this stuff. But everybody else, feel free to use any admin from Laker Force. Don't waste your time. But anybody else in the comments, if you actually have intelligent basketball,
knowledge,
talk to us. Talk
to us, man. And look, and in between too, if y'all got some stuff y'all want to talk about on the next podcast, or y'all go to Worldwide Laker Gang for Life, and go to Worldwide Laker Gang for Life and drop it in there, and we'll talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And because we want to make sure we meeting the needs of our Laker fans and our Laker faithful, man. And shout out again to Worldwide Laker Gang for Life, who's been watching, who's been sharing, who's been getting our views up like crazy. John says we was thirsty as fuck, but I didn't realize it till y'all brought it up. Hey, bro.
Hey, man.
Looking back, we was thirsty.
I can remember when LaMarcus, when we found out whatever the presentation they messed up with LaMarcus Aldridge, it was like
we were pissed.
Blew it with Shaq. I mean, the way how Laker fans was like mad that we didn't get LaMarcus Aldridge is like, come on, bro.
Listen, we didn't get LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar Rosen, Carmelo Anthony, like all these people. We like that was the game changer.
We had a meeting with
we
him.
done missed.
That was it, man. Damn, we didn't get that nigga.
I didn't feel that way about Dwight.
Else, bro?
I will say I didn't feel that way.
No, remember going Dragic? Remember when we was mad we didn't get Dragic?
Yeah, but
we was mad. We were like, God damn it.
The crazy thing is, if we had got those people, we still would have been shit, and we wouldn't have been in position to get those second picks in the draft.
Yep.
That eventually turned in to Anthony Davis.
Yes.
Right.
So thank you.
Right. Everything would have changed.
Yeah. No,
because we got just one of them guys. It would have changed the whole trajectory of where we are right now.
Yeah.
Right. We wanted Jimmy Butler. We wanted everybody. Anybody that came up available, bro, we wanted them niggas, bro.
So I will say again, I was never sold on Jimmy Butler.
Laker fan.
Yeah, I was never sold on Jimmy Butler as our franchise guy. Even though he's killing in Miami, I was never sold on him as that guy for the Lakers.
Yeah, we was on that. Laker fans, boy. we dodged AK-47 bullets. It's just not one person.
We wanted him too. We wanted Andre Karolinko to come back.
Damn. And remember, we were trying to give up the world. We were trying to give up the world for Steph by himself. We just need Steph. We just need not even Steph. We weren't even Steph. It was Clay. We wanted to trade everybody for Clay.
Yeah, and we just try to just
make
Golden State the deepest team in the world. We're gonna give him Lonzo Ball, B.I.
John said, I wish we could have kept B.I. Look, John, it's funny. I kind of don't, because I don't feel like B.I. would have turned into what he's turning into in New Orleans if he would have stayed with us. And I also don't think he would have relished the role of being the third guy behind AD and LeBron like Kuzma is able to do, just being a cutter, just doing the little things. Because I think B.I. needs the ball, and I think B.I. needs a certain amount of time to be effective.
Hey, real quick, I know we got to go.
I'm interested to see how B.I. going to play with Zion full time.
You know what would have been? I know we getting definitely into what ifs now, but you know definitely what would have been a game changer if the Lakers ended up with that first pick last year.
Yeah.
Because do you trade? Do you keep Zion?
Right.
For AD, like that really been.
Yeah.
That would have been.
I was already at that point where I was like saying, "Fuck them kids." So I would have traded Zion. Whoever the fuck,
Zion,
Lion.
The one thing about it, what I found out is if we had got the number one pick, because the number one pick is worth more than the fourth pick, money wise, we would have been able to keep. Of course, most likely it would have been Lonzo, but we would have been able to keep as a Lonzo or Bi.
Yeah.
Or Josh Hart. I really like Josh Hart though. Like he's like one of them dudes that just play his role.
No, it would have to been Lonzo or BR because Josh Hart didn't make that much money.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So because the fourth pick was enough money to leave Kuzma out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if the Lakers would have got like the 7th pick, then Kuzma more likely probably would have to been a part of the trade as well
to make the money work.
So the lower the pick, so that definitely would have been a game changer.
Yeah,
interesting though. But thank God, Laker brass and listen to us though, boy.
Right. Oh my goodness. God damn, bro. We want to Gordon Hayward. We wanted everybody, nigga. How did that Gordon Hayward go to the Boston Celtics? We're supposed to be a Laker.
Damn. Damn, we was thirsty.
Lakers have a build. Lakers racist. We haven't built our team around a white dude since Jerry West. and we wanted Gordon Hayward. He was averaging like 25.
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward was averaging like 25. So, but still, we would not be in a Western Conference playoff. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, damn, man. Thank everybody from Worldwide Laker Gang and everybody who's been watching on all the different sports groups that we shared in. Everybody watching on Twitter. Everybody watching on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. I know I keep saying this, but we're trying to grow this Worldwide Laker Talk thing out, man. So we want to thank everybody. What up, boss? Marcus Robinson is in the building. We want to thank everybody for watching. We'll most likely see you guys after game 2, before game 3 to talk about it and, see what we're going to get into. Or maybe we'll just wait 2 games and come back and see
Mamba
if we don't
Monday.
want to. Yeah, Mamba Monday, so we'll see what's happening. So we want to thank everybody for joining us. And until next time, y'all, Worldwide Laker Gang for life. Worldwide Laker Talk. We are out.
It's about what's doing it big or going home. I'm focused on my plan, in my mind in the zone. I wanna be one of the greatest that ever made it, one of the best that did it, coming with it. Understand this is all I think about, all I ever wanna do, all I ever worked for. So ain't no giving up.